Hi there, Jason Tait, head coach of Southwest Swim here. Just going to give you your introduction and education video for our week 6 of our swim at home session. Okay, so today's session is a mixture of technique. We're going to show you some tricks with the snorkel. You may have seen my precursor to this, the little video I put out on Saturday afternoon about how we can use the snorkel within our tethered pool environment so we don't become reliant on it and basically flattening out the stroke, which can happen if you use your snorkel for long periods of time. So that's our technical element today, using the snorkel. We're going to do a little bit of a warm-up before we get into that, and then we've got a nice long session planned for you today with a little bit of speed work and a little bit of active recovery in 5-minute blocks. Our swim technique today that we want to focus on, over the past few weeks we've focused on our catch under the water, so getting that nice angle in here and being able to bend the elbow and press back. And that's so basically if we press down our legs may well drop and we'll kick the bottom of a shallow pool. If we come down with a straight arm, our hands are likely to scrape the bottom of the pool as well. So we've been working on getting this position and just coming through the stroke with that nice bent elbow position. But today what I want you to do is focus on how that hand is entering the water. Now many swimmers come in with a pitched entry, a thumbs first entry. That's quite bad. Over time that can lead to an impinged shoulder. So if you've got any shoulder problems, take a look at how your hand's entering. What we should be entering, how we should be entering, is that fingertips first entry. So our fingertips slide into the water and drive forward with our middle finger in line with the shoulder, and we've got that rotation going from the shoulders and the hips. Okay, so that's what I want you to focus on today. Just this part here, as that hand enters. Now, a real quick little analogy for you to get to grips with this. Your partner or your kids or someone important is watching you swim from the side. On your hand, you've written their birthday present. Okay, you don't want them to know what that is. So as we exit the water, what I want you to do is basically that palm of the hand should be facing inwards. And as that comes over nice and relaxed, that palm is facing the pool basically, and you drive that in. So at no point can your special person next to you see the present you've bought them. I hope that makes sense, but think about that when you're swimming. Hiding the palm of the hand inwards, and then hiding the palm downwards, and entering into the water with the fingertips first. Because obviously if I do this, they can see what I bought them for their birthday. Alright, so that's our technical point that we're doing within our swim strokes in the main set today. Right, so we're starting with a warm-up. This is blocks of 2 minutes of swim, 30 minutes of drill. We're going to go 2 minute swim, okay, and then 30 seconds of a nice elevated streamline kick. Alright, so we're working our legs. Remember when we kick from the hips with a nice loose knee and a loose ankle. We definitely do not power from the knee. We don't kick from the knee. Glutes and hips, so a nice long straight leg kick is where we're aiming to go. Straight away we're going to follow that with another 2 minutes worth of swim, and then the 30 seconds of drill is going to be a 6-1-6 drill. So we're on our side, we take 6 kicks or a count of 6, and then 3 very purposeful strokes with good rotation. Take a breath and then head down and another 6 kicks on your side or a count of 6. In effect, that's our 5-minute warm-up. So those 2 exercises are our 5-minute warm-up. I've split the session down this week into different elements. So on the plan you'll see that there's a shorter version and a longer version. Now although all of our swim sets are modular and you can add and subtract things, change rest periods, double up, etc. to make it longer or go down to make it shorter, I figured this week I would put a shorter version of the set in there for you just to see how it goes. So please let me know how you feel that went. So if you've got a shorter amount of time or your fitness isn't quite there or your pool's colder, do the shorter version of the set. So those 2 drills there, that's our 5-minute warm-up. Our 10-minute warm-up involves another 2-minute swim, okay, and a 30 seconds worth of drill. Excuse me a second, which I've forgotten what it is. It's a drill we did last week. So skull 1 or skull 2, or just mixing those 2 together. So skull 1 into skull 2 and back into skull 1. Okay, we're not using a pull buoy in the warm-up, so you'll just need a very light kick behind because we're warming up our legs, a whole body warm-up on there. So when you're doing your skull, light kick behind just to control that body position and keep it up. Again from the hips. Then we're going to add a 2-minute swim in. The swims are nice and easy. These 2-minute swims are nice and easy. Maybe progress them a little bit faster as you go. And then we're going to finish off with 30 seconds of a nice fast swim, engaging the legs, and just 30 seconds of basically a sprint as you go through that session. Okay, so that's our warm-up done, a 5-minute or a 10-minute warm-up. You decide. Have a look at the session plan, download the session plan from the website, southwestswim.co.uk. Look for the lockdown swim at home sessions on the web page, or you can download it from the YouTube video. Whichever way you go into the session, you can get that session set quite easily. We're going to have about a 1 or 2 minute rest, have a drink, hydrate, and get yourself ready for the next part. On part 1 of our session, this is where we have our snorkel. Now, I'm going to stop talking here, and I'm just going to play the video that which I recorded on Saturday. So have a look at this video, and then I'll come back to you in a second.
In the endless pool this morning, and just working on Tuesday's session, and I just thought I'd give you some tips, because we're going to work on breathing and snorkel use in the session next Tuesday when it's released. But I thought I'd release something a little bit earlier, so you can have a play around with it over the weekend, and that's all based around snorkel and breathing, and especially in a tethered pool. Now, in a tethered pool, you might notice your breathing is being strained and different, and that is mainly because you're likely, if we filmed you and had a look at you, breathing a lot higher than you would be in a normal pool or an open water or even endless pool environment. And the reason being, you're not creating the bow wave that's pushing that water away in front of your head and creating that air pocket to breathe into when we breathe. So normally in swimming, our head position should be nice and stable and be able to create this bow wave, so we've got something to breathe into, and the water would be shaped effectively like this. And we're aiming all the time to try and get as close to one goggle in, one goggle out as possible. So in your tethered pool, you haven't got that bow wave, you're likely to be breathing quite high. Now, a lot of people are choosing to buy a snorkel, which is fantastic. A centre snorkel is the most underrated bit of swimming kit, in my opinion, that you can possibly buy. They're great for doing drills such as sculling drills, kick drills. They're also great for really focusing on your catch. Now, the danger is if you overuse that snorkel and use it all the time without fail, you're likely going to lose a little bit of feel for the water in terms of rotation into the breath. So you're going to flatten out, basically. So there's 3 mechanisms we can use in the tethered pool, and we use in our endless pool environment as well for developing a swimmer's breathing. So what we're going to do first of all is that first method. So this is just really for the tethered pool user. We are going to just breathe normally, and you'll likely find that you're breathing too high. Okay. The second method is exchanging that breathing for breathing through the snorkel. When you breathe through the snorkel though, still breathe in on your regular breath. So if you're breathing every third stroke, that's where you breathe in. Don't fall into the trick of just breathing willy-nilly basically on there. But our third thing, which is going to be really useful for you and your endless pool, in your tethered pool system specifically, is going to be using the snorkel combined with rotating into the breath. So I'm going to do a demo for you now, and if you watch my breathing position, what I'm going to try and do, hopefully, is just keep one goggle out of the water, but I'll still be breathing in through my snorkel. So there's a couple of things to be careful of here. If you're using a snorkel and you over-rotate too much into your breath, the tip's going to go into the water, okay? And you'll breathe in water. So that's one thing to be aware of. The second thing is you can experience water going up your nose. If you're using a nose clip, not a problem. If you're not using a nose clip, as soon as our head's in the water, we should always be breathing out when our head's in the water anyway. But as soon as your head goes back into the water, what you want to do is breathe out through your nose, and that will clear it, hopefully. If you suffer from this a lot, what you want to be doing is basically doing short bursts of this. But mixing all 3 of these into your tethered pool sessions is a fantastic way of just making sure when we come out and you're swimming in normal pools and lakes that your breathing technique hasn't gone too far one way or too far the other. So you're not too flat and you're not too high. Okay, so this is a really good drill to do. I'm going to be using an Amio Power Breather snorkel, which is a little bit better for this drill. My go-to snorkels are this one and a Finnish Stability snorkel. So the Finnish Stability snorkel is fairly new. but it's absolutely fantastic bit of kit. So if you're looking to buy a snorkel, that's the one I'd recommend. Okay, so let's turn the endless pool on and see if we can demonstrate this for you. Okay, let's get it done. So, hopefully that came through okay. I was trying to breathe every 2, or every 4. Excuse me, trying to breathe every 2 or 4 just towards the camera so you'd get a view of that. And I'm hoping that my head was alright and pretty good. But yeah, you want to try and get one goggle in, one goggle out, or as close to that as you can without sucking in water. So, I hope that little tip's been useful. Play with it over the weekend and let me know how you get on. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Alright, how was that? Hope you enjoyed it. You may have well seen that before and already had a go at this, but basically what we're doing is trying to keep some rotation in our stroke. So what we're going to do with that one is 4 2-minute blocks with 30 seconds rest in between, and we're going to try different breathing patterns as we go with this one. What we are going to do is this, so 4 2-minute blocks is the longer session, 4 1-minute blocks is the shorter session. If you're doing the 2-minute blocks, I want you to take 30 seconds rest in between. For shorter blocks, 20 seconds rest in between. So you don't need as much rest on there. A nice easy stroke. Pool buoy is optional. Feel free to use a pool buoy or not. And what we're going to do is the first effort. So the first 1 or 2 minute effort, we're going to do breathing every 3 strokes. So it's bilateral. The second effort, we're going to breathe only to our left side. And what I want you to try and do is breathe every 4 to the left. If you can't manage that, breathe every 2 to the left. But 4 would give you a nice pattern of 1 stroke with the head in the water and another stroke cycle with the head breathing to the side. Then we're going to try and breathe every 5 strokes, okay? And on the 4th effort, we're going to go back to breathing every 4 strokes, and we're going to breathe only to the right. So it's a really good exercise to keep you going and keep that rotation involved in your stroke even when you're wearing a snorkel. And I would highly advise you to fit this drill in wherever you can in your tethered pool especially, so you still keep that rotation and those skills will come back when you're in the open water or the pool quite easily. Alright, and now take a rest. Again, 1 minute, 2 minutes, make sure you have a drink. These are our longer blocks coming up. So we're going to swim 5-minute blocks. Now I've said here in the session there's 3 options. You can swim 2 5-minute blocks, 3 5-minute blocks, or 4 5-minute blocks. Swim 5 if you want, but they're the ones I've recorded in here. Do at least 2 and build from that. Alright, so what we're going to do is, in our blocks of swim, we are going to swim 20 strokes, easy. So we're going to start all the time with an easy, and by strokes I mean actual strokes, so not stroke cycles. So a stroke, I deem that as 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So each arm counts as a stroke, so 20 of those. So if we put that, a stroke cycle would be 1, 2. Alright, but we're going on strokes. So count your individual strokes and it's 20. 20 easy, 20 fast. 20 easy, 20 fast. 20 and so on. And you just repeat that. So your slower strokes become your recovery strokes. Make sense? And then we do a 20-second fast, turning the arms over really quickly. When you're in your easy swim, your recovery swim, really focus on the technique. When we're going fast, you want to try and hold that technique together when your arms are going turning over faster. Feel free to use your stroke rate to do your easy swims. I would say do stroke rate -2 or -4. So if your natural stroke rate is 60 strokes a minute, maybe try and swim at 58 for your easy. Make it a little bit easier for you, because after you progress through the sessions, you will find that it gets incredibly tough to hold on to form and keep those arms moving at the same time. Okay, these are all done with a pull buoy. So what I want you to do is use a pull buoy for this session so we can really focus on that front end technique and your legs are isolated. Easy as that. So that part of the set is the part I loved. I loved mixing up a nice easy recovery, mixing it with faster strokes and just going through. It's mentally challenging, it's tough. If you can't do 5-minute blocks, again, it's modular. Feel free to do 3 minutes or 4 or 5. Okay, if you wanted a longer swim, knock it up to 10 and just do 2 sets of them. Entirely modular. We're here just to give you the ideas to make that swim a little bit more productive and fun and give you a reason you want to get in the pool and try something different maybe. Okay, so that's our block 2. Nice and simple this week. If you wanted to add paddles on one of the blocks, okay, so you can really feel the catch. So if you're doing 3 sets, do the first one without, the second one with paddles, the third one with paddles. Again, paddles are totally optional. Be careful of your shoulders. We don't want big dinner plates. We want paddles for technical use, not power, especially in a tethered pool. Okay, right. And our final block, our block 3, is basically just your cool down. Simple as that. 5 minutes of work, 5-minute swim of your own choice. Try and work in some rotational drills. Next week's session, we're going to try and work the rotation again. So by that I mean do your 5-minute swim and maybe do little tiny bursts, 10, 20, 30 seconds of drills like kick on side, 6-3-6, 6-5-6. Anything that gets you rotating onto the side and holding the position for a little while. Okay, and remember your kick's important in these drills as well. We want to be kicking from the hip all the time. I keep saying it, and we don't want to be kicking from the knee. That's going to cause drag. That's why another reason why your legs may be hitting the floor of your shallower pool. So I hope that session's really good. These sessions are provided free of charge as always. If you like the work you're doing, you like the sessions and you want to donate to what we're doing, click one of the links in the session plan and feel free to donate a session fee. Entirely up to you. The content's going to be delivered to you anyway, but if you are supporting us in that way, it is very much appreciated. And I will see you next week for our week 7 of our swim at home sets.